What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of UCBP Reacts. Today, we are reacting to UFC 282. Sorry, I had to get the information there. But I'm joined by none other than Isaac Diaz. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by another person. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in the blue corner, we have a boxer and a Taekwondo fighter weighing in at 184 pounds with a 5 feet and 5 inches of height.
My goodness.
We have the none other than Andre the Karate Kid, Q-Tip, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. You can find him on YouTube, by the way. So Andre the Karate Kid 90. All right, cool.
Amazing. Okay. Listen, we had to pull out all the guns, right, Hiro? We had to bring in an MMA and boxing expert.
That's it. I mean, come on. Today we're talking about UFC, but first we're going to talk about some very interesting news that came out from these past few weeks. UFC announced that they were letting go of a certain coach from coaching, but also the bigger thing is the Nevada State Athletic Commission has banned none other than veteran coach and retired fighter James Krause. So he is currently under suspension by the Nevada Athletic Commission due to an ongoing investigation into betting irregularities, which ultimately led to UFC essentially cutting all ties with him. On Friday, the UFC notified athletes and managers that anyone who continues to associate with Krause as either a coach or just working out of his Glory MMA and fitness gym would no longer be allowed to compete in the promotion. The UFC stated that there are government investigations looking into the situation, which stemmed from a fight where Derek Minner, who counts Krause as his head coach, lost at UFC Vegas 64 after betting lines shifted dramatically against him in the hours leading up to the bout. The UFC then released Minner from his contract. While few details exist regarding allegations against Krause, the UFC has already faced dramatic fallout from the investigation, including two prominent provinces in Canada banning all betting on UFC events. Guys, how do you feel about this? This is crazy allegations, crazy news. So if you didn't know, James Krause has this Discord, which is just a chatting line where you can talk to people, whatever. It's just kind of like a group chat where you can talk to a lot of people. It's essentially a Discord, and it was called a 1% Club. And he was giving out odds and stuff. People will pay subscriptions in order for you to come into this group chat, and you will pay for that, but it will be used as a betting line for these upcoming fights. Very smart man, right? Because obviously gained a lot of money. He went on the Ariel Helwani podcast on August 1st around there, and he was talking to Ariel, and Ariel asked him a question. He's like, do you make any money from this? Or do you make more from coaching or from betting? And James Krause legit said, he said, no, I make more from betting. This is where I make most of my money. He's like, the game. Ariel, he's like, I don't make much from coaching. If I did, then, I would stick to that. And then, Ariel followed up with a smart question by saying, do you bet on your fighters? He's like, of course, every time I bet on every fight, all my fighters, all the time, which can seem kind of weird, right, at first, but he wasn't breaking the rules or anything until that Derek Minner fight where the lines shifted dramatically against him, that's his fighter. And all of a sudden, for some reason, it shifted, meaning that someone had to know some prior knowledge on an injury because what happened? Got injured, first round stoppage. So how do you guys feel? Andre, I'm going to go to you first.
I feel like it's okay to bet, as a coach, but I would say for me, I wouldn't want to even touch anything near when it comes to like anybody that I'm coaching personally. When it comes to that, everybody's free to bet and do what they want with it. But I feel like as a coach and as a fight that's happening now, and then with the allegations going on with him, I think coaches and especially head coaches shouldn't bet on their own fighter. If they want to do that to another fighter or whatever that has nothing to do with their product, I feel like that's fine. But to do it with your own fighter, but then if things start to look a little funny, people are going to start looking at you, especially if they are your own fighter.
Right, Isaac. So, I mean, you look at the allegations here. They're pretty strong against James Krause. What do you think?
To be honest with you, I don't see an issue with it. I would agree with Andre until it comes up with you basically betting on your own fighters, which you have intel on. If they have prior injuries, if they're going into the fight with an injury. I get it. He was trying to make some extra money, but there's that fine line where your fighter shouldn't be touched. Information that others are not privy to, and so I guess he used that to his advantage. And people were, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, but people were writing to him, and he was giving out intel information that only he knew, for some good cash in return.
Right.
So,
right.
To be honest with you, I know the word is out there that UFC is fixing fights. I honestly think that's impossible. But I do think he, in the betting and in the information world of MMA, he knew some things about fighters on his roster and also opponents that he used for his advantage to make some good money.
Absolutely. I think that the MMA and the world of MMA is so small, especially in the UFC, right? Fighters are going to the UFC PI in Vegas, right? They're going to the UFC PI. So many people are coming in and they see someone, they're like, oh man, this guy's injured. I can see his leg this. I'm going to place a bet, all these things. So, in NFL, NBA, all these teams, they have their own PIs, right? For their own teams and everything. So that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So now that betting and all of this has been legalized in many states, right? New York was one of the last ones to get legalized, and Canada as well. Canada was one of those countries where, betting was not legal, and so, for me, I'm looking at it as like, you can bet, you can do all those things and stuff, but probably not with your own fighters. I think that leaves a sour taste, especially, for example, if you're fighting, how would you feel if your own coach is betting against you? I think that there's a fine line, there's a fine line between that, some shadiness going on there. So I don't know what's happening, but, stay tuned for more information on that. We're going to move it forward here to UFC 282 happening this Saturday, December 10th, with the main card starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't get me wrong, do you guys want to do the co-main event, main event? Which ones do you guys want to do? From co and main?
A little bit of the...
Yeah, let's do co and main.
All right, so we have the co-main event, which is Paddy Pimblett, who is 19-3-0, with Jared Gordon, who's 19-5-0. So, listen, what a fantastic fight. We got Paddy the Baddie, Paddy the Baddie. And we got Jared Gordon from New York City, man. Born and raised. So here the betting odds are that Paddy Pimblett is the favorite here at 250 with Jared Gordon at plus 210. Andre, let me know your thoughts on this fight.
I think Jared Gordon is a well-rounded fighter from what I've seen from him. Great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu, and also got some good hands. Paddy, also a good wrestler. But sometimes you can kind of like take some shots, in order to, or he needs to take some shots to wake up a little bit. But I think it's going to be a fun fight. That's a great co-main event to the card and whatnot. I like both guys, man. I think it's going to be fun.
Isaac, Paddy's coming off that submission win against Jordan Levitt back in July. What do you think of he can do this time around against Jared Gordon?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I believe Gordon is going to become DC. He's going to be a wrestler from round 1 to round 3 if it survives that long. Paddy the Baddie, he reminds me of a young Conor McGregor. He reminds me of a young even Muhammad Ali. The confidence that he has is untouchable. Now, he's got to back that up. I remember Conor McGregor got the name Mystic Mac when he would predict his knockouts. So I kind of see that same aura. I kind of see that same style. And I also see that charisma in Paddy the Baddie. I believe he's the next cash cow. And the pressure is going to be too much for Gordon. I don't know if you saw that last fight up in England when this man came out. It was almost like Conor when he came out in Liverpool, I believe.
Yes, against
the place was
I know,
roaring.
Yep. I remember that.
This man has star power oozing all over him. Now, the only thing he needs to do is win this Saturday, not by decision, but by a knockout or by a submission, because people think he's not a well-rounded fighter. They think he's another Conor McGregor. But I'll tell you this. He proved us last fight. I can jiu-jitsu. He's proved us before. I can hang. I can hang with the best stand-up fighters, you know? And I believe he's going to show this weekend a little bit of his takedown defense. And I think he's going to win it by knockout, second round.
Wow. Great prediction there.
Prediction, my man.
What about you, Andre? What's your prediction for that fight?
I would say Patty by decision.
Patty by decision.
Ooh.
All right. Keeping it safe. We're moving it forward here to the main event. A bit of a discrepancy here because Yuri Prochazka, as we know, is the light heavyweight champion, but as of Saturday, he won't be because he has forfeited his title due to, I believe, is it a shoulder injury, Andre?
I think so.
Shoulder injury. He did not want to hold up the division, so he decided to give up the belt. Right, as of Saturday, he no longer will be the light heavyweight champion, and we're spinning it forward to Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev, who is the betting favorite at minus 280, and Jan Blachowicz, who is plus 235. Guys, great main event here in the light heavyweight division. Andre, I'm going to go to you first here. How do you feel about this fight, knowing the pressures of the light heavyweight title and everything that comes with it, who Jan Blachowicz was the title holder before?
I think for Jan Blachowicz, I think for him it's a great opportunity to once again fight for a title. I mean, obviously it sucks because Yuri Prochazka hurt himself, and it sucks for Glover because that means he doesn't get the immediate rematch now either.
Right.
So I think, and for Ankalaev, he's a good fighter too. Good striking from Ankalaev, and I think that if he has to, I think he'll fall into the wrestling if Jan Blachowicz poses a problem when it comes to the striking.
100%.
I think Ankalaev's a little faster when it comes to the striking, so I think this is why he's and he got some good power. Here on the stats that I can see for Magomed, he has 10% coming by his 10%. He has 10 knockouts and 8 decisions and no subs, so he's probably going to most likely go for that knockout.
Isaac, Magomed Ankalaev just came out of that beautiful KO against Anthony Smith back in July 30th at UFC 277. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about him coming in, first-time title challenger here, getting this opportunity of a lifetime?
Look, anybody that their name resembles just a little bit and sounds like Khabib Nurmagomedov, I'm going for that man. I personally believe I would have loved to see Teixeira versus Ankalaev. Is that how it is?
Ankalaev, yep.
Ankalaev. I would have loved to see that type of fight between Teixeira and him. It really sucks, man. Teixeira is a nice guy. He's a legend in the sport, and I would have loved to see him take this main event. But hey, we've got the next big thing, the next best thing. Blachowicz, I think, look, I don't want to be a negative pansy, but I think he's an older guy. He's not Teixeira. And it's going to be an easy fight for Ankalaev. His knockout power, his ability to wrestle, and his ability even to defend wrestling against himself, I think is going to be pinnacle in this fight. I don't believe it's going to go all 5 rounds. I do believe Ankalaev will probably win, and I'm going to go on a limb, by submission in the 3rd round.
Wow.
I say he knocks him off.
And
so,
listen,
Andre,
guys,
what's your prediction?
Go ahead, Andre.
I say by TKO.
TKO? What round?
I would say in the 3rd, and on the beginning it's gonna be kind of hard to get y'all now. Depends on how Jan Blachowicz comes out. Does he come out like himself? He's been in that position already himself. He's been champ. He's been that title challenger before. So I think that plays a part a little bit. Bigger atmosphere. You're the main event, fighting for your first title shot. That's huge. It's just, and I think that's gonna play a factor, but not so much. I think in that 1st round it might, but then once he gets settled down in the 2nd, I think he'll be fine after.
Absolutely, guys. You guys can check out UFC 282 happening this Saturday, December 10th. Main card starts at 10 p.m. So you can catch all those fights, and preliminary fights start at 7 p.m. I believe here. They're live from the T-Mobile Arena, and it's going to happen on ESPN Plus. But you could also catch Andre, the Karate Kid, live on YouTube, who will be reacting to the fights with you. Check his channel out, and you guys can live react with him as you guys are watching the fights. Guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.